Okay guys, so I'm out in the garage today to get the engine sorted out. Right, as you can kind of see, I've got these issues to sort out where it's leaking. Basically what happened is as I changed the cams over and put it back together, it would not tighten up to the correct point. So actually, as it's not tightened up, the seal's not sealed correctly, which is losing a little bit of oil. Obviously, that's going on to places where I really don't want oil going. A little bit of a squeak on the belt because obviously there's oil in there, so that's now kind of made a little bit of a kind of movement on the belt. So that I mean I can resolve that. Bit of WD-40 or a bit of brake cleaner or something like that just to get rid of the oil. So hopefully in about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, this will all be off. Bolts replaced, and once the bolts are replaced and it's all, so hopefully whatever's stopping that from torquing up will be fixed. That will be torqued up, and then that will completely clear that issue. The next job I've got after this is to replace the injectors. So the injectors are getting uprated, and then obviously the fuel pump as well, because as I've now done the cams, it needs a bit more fuel. Don't think the ECU's happy with needing more fuel and not being able to give it more fuel. It still runs all right. It's a little bit growly, it's a little bit aggressive, but I think there's more to be had out of it, and I don't think I'm gonna get more out of it in the correct way until I do the injectors or the fuel pump. So that's the kind of next job, and then after the injectors and the fuel pump have been changed over, then I can get it into the tuners, and then see what I can get out of this. And that's it. That's going to be in the future videos to come. So I'll let you know how that all goes. I'll show you how to change the injectors, and I will show you how to change the fuel pump. And then all being well, the next thing I'll be looking forward to is actually getting it on the dyno, getting it tuned up, and seeing what actually this car will produce. All right, in the next time. Hello guys, right, I have managed to get myself all the way from Norwich all the way down to Wisbeach with the spoiler, which is now at Hydro V8. This is also Chris. He's going to be doing the job for me, so this is basically the dipping job. So Chris, just tell me a bit kind of like what needs to happen with that before it's kind of like done and finished. What's the process of it?
Because it's not primed or anything, so basically this has got to be prepped the same as you would for painting anything on a car. So it'll have to be prepared, filler primed, then I'll flat it by hand.
Yeah.
Then you paint it, then you dip it, then you lacquer it. Well, you clean it all off, then you lacquer it. So yeah, it's about a 5 or 6 stage process. But then it's the same as the paint on your car, and it will last the lifetime of the car.
Brilliant, brilliant, yeah, because I have got the, so as you can see, obviously, guys know that I put these bolts in, and I got some, the Gorilla kind of like adhesive and that for that, yeah. So they should not come out ever. Obviously they're longer than they need to be, but I need them to be long enough because where this is going to fit on the car, it's going to be bonded, but that part of this part of the boot lid, you've got like, it's a double layer, so you've got a space kind of like that, so that's got to go through that, and I don't know how much is going to stick out. So when it's on there, I've made the templates, so I've templated that up. They'll go on, so I know where to put the holes in. Then I'll dry fit that just to make sure everything all lines up nice, and then I'll put a mark where I need to cut. And then I've just got some which are turning up soon, which are basically the blue washers and the blue end caps that are matching with the well, as close to match to the blue with the metal work.
Sure. So are these going to be flush to the car then? I mean, that's what I know they're designed for. So
yeah, so that's going to be flush. Basically, whatever gaps or there might be, the basic sealer will just basically fill the gaps up anyway. Okay. That's going to be bolted on there anyway, so it's not going to fly off. I mean, the process would be is by the time I've put the bond around these bits, I guess the outer wing is when that's bolted all down, that will hold that nice and tight, which you'll get a nice tight seal, which should hopefully pull all this along the way here as well. I might, just for the purposes, so when I did the bonnet vents, there's a process where if you get like some piping lagging, and then basically you just put that over and then you tape over that, so you make like a bit of a bridge. What that does is it increases the amount of downward force, so actually it's more stable and more secure, and you get a better bond, and that's just basically with a bit of pipe lagging. It's about £5 for a length of that, £3-4 something like that, and some Gorilla Tape, and then I used for the bonnet vents, I used Tiger Seal. Yeah. Nice to clean up as well. It was nice. It was nice to use because I used a bit of tar remover just to clean the edges up and all that. So I've got. So that's the plan for this, to get that onto the car. And obviously, I haven't got the other bits of body kit yet, but I will come and see you when I have got them. So there's the side skirts, the front lip, the rear diffuser, and that's it. Because I'm going to leave the cap that's going to go on here, the spoiler cap, I'm going to leave that in the gloss black. So I'm not going to. That's going to be. So everything else is going to be carbon. That's going to be gloss black, because the roof is actually just gloss black.
So it'll fit in anyway.
Exactly.
It'll tie in, rather not fit in. It'll tie in. So a couple of things just to note on here. So your top, you're going to have carbon. It's going to go all the way across.
Yep.
It's actually quite good that you've got these, because I can use these as.
Well, that's what I thought. You see, yeah.
Because I'd have to put something on there anyway.
Yeah.
And doing the other side, it's going to go in at this angle, and then it'll come towards me, so it'll be distorted here, but you're not going to see this bit anyway.
Anything under there, anything under here or here is never going to be seen.
Yeah. So this edge here and the underneath, that'll be perfect.
Beautiful. Well, that is superb. So, so what have you? I mean, these are the kind of things you've done. Like, I mean, it's the wheels, and I can see that's pretty.
It's a shame you weren't here a bit earlier in the week, because I had a whole E-Class Mercedes splitters, diffusers.
Did you post that?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think I did see that. I mean, that looks quite. Yeah,
big project.
Yeah.
But worth it, because today there was a guy with a McLaren. And he's done like one of the rear engine cover bits. That's in carbon.
Okay.
And it has to be, I kind of pride myself on making it factory.
Yeah.
So it's, there's no dust in it. There's no dust in it, isn't it? Just smooth.
Yes. Yeah. I bet because
proper finish on it.
This is the thing when I thought about a lot of people don't like finishing off other people's work. Right, which is why I didn't spray this. I didn't spray this, and I didn't do the kind of prep work. Simple is I know I could have do a good job on it, but because I appreciate the fact that if you do the job, you want to do it all the way through.
Sure, and then I know what's been done underneath, and if there's any issues later on or during the process, then I know what I've done. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, I do get customers bringing prep bits, but it's not that often, to be fair. I like to just take it from scratch, and even if customers had a go, I'll still strip it all the way back. Yeah,
I mean the next things I want to do, right, I did the smaller bits. There's all the trims inside the car, so all the black trims for the door handles and everything else, plus the panel that goes across the front.
Dash panel.
Yeah, I want that. But so I've got, I think it's like a silver strip.
Yeah.
All right. I want that to be blue, and I want the rest of that carbon.
Okay.
But all the little chrome accents, right? Now this is going to take an awful lot of time. I tell you guys, this is not going to be an overnight job. All right. This is probably about maybe a week's worth of prep, pulling everything apart, and then getting the right paint to spray it and all of that, because there's a lot of people there just want to charge silly money because it's a lot of messing around. But all the accents, so all the chrome accents around all the buttons and everything else, I want that as a chrome blue, kind of to match the outside of the car. It doesn't have to be exactly, but that's what I want to do, which means everything's got to be all masked up, taken off, and then sprayed. The emblems, I want what's going to be is so basically the Griffin, that's going to be all blacked out, but all the lettering, Vauxhall lettering, and the V, that's going to be blue. I haven't decided on what type of blue, if I go for the lighter blue to match the car or if I go for a bit of a darker blue. I think the lighter blue to try and match it in would be best. And then the same thing with the steering wheel. Now the steering wheel, I like the steering wheel, right? I get the flat bottoms and everything else like that, but like I kind of like just the standard one, but I don't like the cover on it. So
No.
I bought a cheap, nasty old cover, like from Halfords, and then basically I put it on just because the leather had started to go a bit on the actual wheel itself, and I was like, that's not what you want. But I would love, I mean, if there's somebody out there like it can do this, is just to have that customised, keep the wheel, but have it customised, so it's got some, I don't know, a bit of Alcantara and maybe a bit of the kind of what am I thinking? Like carbon, kind of the Alcantara and carbon mix, maybe with the little centre strip in the middle.
Well, you only got to say, because we have, as part of like Transtech where I'm working here, we have an audio guy, we have an upholsterer, we have me, and the guys over there do platforms, LEDs, everything. So we're like a one-stop shop. So
really? See, now this is good to know. I didn't know this. I only came in for dipping, and look, this is growing.
we do. So the guy will do a lorry steering wheel, like off a Scania or an old DAF or something, and then he does all his leather work, and then I mask up the leather, and then do the actual, like, make it look like it's wood or whatever effect.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Oh, really? What's the kind of like price outlay for that? I mean, if I said I want, like, so I've got stock car interior, right? The cost of, so this is what I was thinking initially, right, is to just reupholster the seats. They're quite comfortable in a way. You could probably put a bit of extra padding in places and that, just to make it that little bit extra. Against replacing the front seats and putting VXR seats in there, and then doing something with the back.
That's probably it'd be cheaper to get like Recaros, VXR Recaros or something, and have your nice seating. It's going to be cheaper than reupholstering.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't like all the plastic. So don't get me wrong, like it, when you can polish up and all, it looks all nice and tidy, but it still looks really plasticky. And I've seen some really nice interiors. The roof liner needs to be black. That needs to be black to go with the black and the blue and the purple and all that scheme. I've chosen the colour of the seat belts, and I was speaking to somebody today about the seat belts, getting a price, but they're in South Yorkshire.
Okay.
So that's going to be a holiday for me. I'm going to go down there, take the seat belts off, give them the 4 seat belts, and then they're going to do the driver's seat belt for me. They're going to like just basically take it off and fit it. So I only have to pay them labour on the one seat belt. All the other seat belts, I'll just pay them standard for changing them over, and then I can refit them. So I was thinking, how do I get this done? And I've got the driver's seat belt, it's the most important seat belt. How do I get that done in a timely fashion? So I was speaking with him about prices and all the rest of it. I thought, well, if I travel down there's not really anyone local that does it. Everyone's kind of like all over the place. So a little bit disappointing in that. However, the best thing is it means that I get to go down to South Yorkshire. I probably know somebody in a way that will live down there, and pretty much I can get free accommodation, pay a little bit probably like just towards food and all that kind of stuff, make a contribution, but that way it means the work can get done. It's fairly cheap, it's not going to cost the earth, and if I sort of book myself out for a little bit, I'll get a bit of holiday out of it. So
of course.
Cheap holiday as well. This is the thing.
Is it worth doing, like, you're going to have to take most of the trim out to get your seatbelts out, you're going to have to take the pillar trims out and what have you.
Yeah.
Is it worth starting to do your trim at the same time before you put it all back together and then go, oh, now I've got to take it all apart again and do the trims? I mean, money permitting, obviously.
Yeah, I mean it depends. I mean if you could do, can you do all that kind of like, can you a bit of Alcantara or something, soften it up and make it just
Well,
nice?
the guys here can, but I'll be honest, I have no idea
What they would do.
charge, so.
So that's worth a conversation. That's going to be. I'll let you know. That conversation goes in the next one. But yeah, it's good. It's actually really good that there's somewhere just that does it all, because I've had to go all over the place with all different kinds of things, and most of the work I've done myself. So the only yeah. So this is an update. I snapped 2 bolts when I was changing the cams, and I took it to my friend, and he inadvertently snapped a bolt.
Yeah.
But didn't know until after I thought it was all buttoned up, all put back together. And I get home and I'm like, okay, so I've just put some draft excluder underneath the cap that goes over the coil pack, right, just to stop that rattling, and it looks a little bit more nicer than what I had on there before. And then as I've taken it off, I thought there was a bit of oil in there, there's a bit more oil. I thought it's a bit clean, but when I left, so I was like, oh no, and I just thought there's a bit of oil around the bolt, and I thought that was a bit of a telltale sign. And I touched it, literally just loose, and I was like, oh no. I tried to get back to him the same day, didn't work, so I had to wait until the following Monday. Fortunately, that was Saturday, so it was only a couple of days. In fact, no, I think I waited until Wednesday, and literally 15 minutes, not even that, 10 minutes, the job was done, put back to right. So that's now done. So the engine's actually buttoned up. There's one bolt which I have to get, I've got some helicoils to put, because the thread was damaging the actual blocks, so that's got to be drilled out and then redone so that bolt will tighten down properly. But yeah, so yeah, again, it's not a major important job at the moment. But it's those things, those little things that need to be done. So fortunately, they're not going to cost me the earth to get them done. But it's the little things, what can I do myself? How, do I do the door handles, to get the chrome? I want the chrome. If it's going to be chrome, I want it to be blue. I want it to match the outside. And not only that, let's say I do sell the car. I want the car to be in such a good spec that actually someone's going to love that, and they're just going to know that actually it's the car for them.
Yeah. And if it's done properly, you can modify cars, and if they're done properly, then you'll retain the value.
Exactly.
The only thing is you don't, modifying cars, you don't add any value to them as such.
No.
It's personal for you, isn't it? So I've modified quite a few cars, and you just. You do it because you love it, and you go, wow, I love all that, and you try and do it tastefully, so that the next person doesn't go, oh God, what's he done?
Exactly.
And then,
everything needs to be done to a high spec. I mean, for my standard, like the wiring, the looms that I've had to make for the underglow, for everything else, it just, you can't just make it really messy. It's supposed to be those things. I've got an auxiliary fuse box in the glove compartment, and those things are meant to make it tidier and easier to connect to, and all the rest of it. Now you don't just want a whole mess under there, so it's like, right, it's got to be tidy.
Yeah, sure.
I want people to know that actually it's been done well, and it's been done to a high spec. Now I may never sell that car, because it's the first car I've ever actually modified, believe it or not, and I'm 40 this year. I have been mixed in and around of engines and everything else. Drove tanks for a while, so I had to maintain tanks. So I can't tell you a lot of that stuff for security reasons. But that was part of my role back in my military days, and that was, it's just looking at it and you say it's nuts and bolts. It's all nuts and bolts, electrical wiring and systems. And once you learn what the systems are, you can get into it. And the biggest thing is that first bit of confidence to go, all right, let's do it. And the first bolt that you ever undo, I tell you, it's just like...
It's daunting, isn't it, until you get your hands dirty and you get in.
Yeah.
And there's enough information on YouTube now that you can watch other people who've done similar things. Do you know what I mean? And get a bit of information. You're not just going in cold or trying to use like in the old days, you used to have a Haynes manual. We'd be like, if you knew what
you still get them. Like, but here's the thing that I like knowing that I know that I can do it. I know that I can get in there and do it. And once YouTube's really great for that, is you know, I've watched so many videos and basically just type in what the job is you want to do, type in your car, and there'll be a video for that. And if there isn't a video, make a video. Like this is why I'm making the videos that I do, because actually for my model, for the Corsa E, there's not a lot on it. There really isn't, because what they did is they made it so well, there wasn't really cause for people to do many modifications to it, because it's quite a balanced car, and people kind of get to that point and they just want to leave it as is. But because I'm sitting there and I'm absolutely bored out of my mind, I need something to do, so I'm cutting holes in the bonnets and everything else. I had a good friend of mine who helped me do that, and he just said to me, Chris, I'm not cutting holes in your car. I'm not doing it. I said, mate, I don't want you to. I said, I'll do it. I just want you to hold my hand a bit while I'm doing it. So he was really, really good, trustworthy guy. And he just like helped me set it all up, mark it all out, so everything's all nice and even and in the right place. And then that was it. Put the dual through that, and it was like, no going back now. I was holding it.
check twice, cut once. Right?
That's it. So yeah, that's kind of how the project's going. I mean, I've got this. I've got injectors and a fuel pump to buy, and I'm going to buy that. And what I'm thinking of doing is having a word with the tuners that are going to then remap the car and get them to install that while they remap it, because actually for the price of what it's going to cost me for them to do that with the cams already done anyway, they might as well do that part, because it's not a long job. It wouldn't take them long to put in the injectors and then.
So you're putting race cams in it then? Is that
it's not race cams, it's fast road cams. So they've got fast road cams, which is slightly better and actually sounds more aggressive, and actually there is a bit more power on the upper scale. But it's like it just feels like it wants to have more out of it. It's never going to be really like high power, but it's going to be a lot more than what it is. And from that point on, it will be really enjoyable to drive. It just means, so you know what I mean, it won't bog out so much and everything else when it's tuned properly, but it has to be tuned. Thanks Rusty Autos for that bit of info. I watched your video about when you did the VXR injectors, changed injectors, and also the fuel pump, which I never did see a video for that, so I'm looking forward to that one. But the information was, if you're going to do your injectors, because they're going, it's going to allow more fuel to flow and everything else like that.
Fuel pump to get it through.
Exactly. So you need to then retune the engine in order to deal with that. So I'm like, okay, well if they do it, they can install that and tune at the same time, probably for an extra 150 quid or whatever. So you know, you might as well get it all done.
There, you might as well.
Exactly.
Because there's no point in getting it done, going away, going back. So that's what I was saying about the trim with the seat belts.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, if you're going to do the headlining while you've got your pillars out, get the headlining out and do it at the same time. At least then you put it back in, it's done.
I think the next car show I've got is booked for August. I think there's a couple of bits in June. So what I want to do is kind of have a lot of these bits done by August. So sleeping in the car, not paying rent, that's saving me 500 quid a month. You know, I'm paying storage, which is only 150 quid a month. So really, actually, the extra cash I just pile into the car, pay off my mates and everything else, get my debts out of the way, pile everything else into the car. It just means I can get the job done. And I think when it's done, I can breathe a sigh of relief and really enjoy it. And then not have to worry so much about the extra costs, because it will just be set up. It's, you know, it's had the exhaust, the suspension, the brakes, the air intake, all the little trim pieces, everything else like that to be done. The spoiler, you know, it's first part of that, you know, and it's not just, if you're doing this, it's not just, can you find a carbonized spoiler? Not really. You can, but will it fit? And that's the thing, is getting one that will fit. And most of them will come completely raw plastic, just like that. They will come like that, so they will need to be sprayed, they will need to be primed, and then it's up to you how you do it. You can either go and see someone like Chris, get them dipped, of a design or style of your choice, or you can just spray it a base color to match in with your car, or you can have it whatever color you want if you want to contrast it. And that's basically what what you have to think about. But every time that you go to see somebody else do that for you, there's a cost. So that will cost you one bit. Then you've got to price in how much is it going to cost to get it to where I want it to. Yeah, I think I won't mention the name because I don't want to be disrespectful to the company, but I just don't really see £70 an hour as a.
No, it seems a bit steep.
You know, I regardless the work quality or whatever like that, I do a good job, and I like to pride myself on the quality that I do. So would I pay myself £70 an hour? No. I think maybe £30 an hour or something like that is a reasonable price, especially for the kind of mechanical side of it.
Sure.
But most things, you know, I was in construction and I investing in myself, and then I was earning £21.50 an hour in construction. It you know what I mean? And most that is pretty much a standard rate. And when you get on sort of bigger machines, you get more money because the risk goes up and all that. But I mean, the most you'll earn is £30 an hour, and I think that's more technical. that is a more technical. And I've built kitchens and I've sprayed and everything else, so I know kind of what's involved. And yeah, after I've seen the kind of process, I'm just like, man, that's just.
Well, when I do that for you, I mean, I do it for lots of customers. To be fair, I make a sort of a portfolio of pictures. So I'll show you the process. Each stage, I'll take a picture of it, and I'll go, there you go, that's where I am.
Brilliant.
So you get regular updates. You get, you see progress in pictures as well.
Brilliant. And what I'd like to do is when it's fitted. So Juiced, 19th of May, guys. Get your tickets. Get down there. It's going to be a good event. So I am fitting this spoiler on the day. So what I'm going to do is I'll get some video footage and I'll get some pictures taken. I'll send them up. You can put them in your portfolio with them actually on the car, and hopefully some lucky person will be able to help me fit this. I know my guys are more than capable of being able to do it, but I want to kind of maybe give somebody a chance that, just maybe interested in it and just want to do something. And this is quite a simple job. It's not, you know what I mean? It couldn't really be more simple. It's 2 holes, a bit of glue, and stick it on. Do you know what I mean? It's not installing cams and all that. I mean, I hope I got enough footage for the cams, but because I was looking, I was like, right, Corsa E, cams, placement. How do you take the cams out? Do you need to take the sprockets out? All that kind of stuff. And it was just like, there's nothing there. And yet people said, no, you can do it that way. So what I did is I opened it up. I found that you had to take it a little bit further than I thought. So I undid the bolt that holds the cams to the sprocket, but I didn't take them out fully. Right. Which you have to do. So you have to remove that bolt. That basically it has it's just a bolt. It's an oil-fed bolt that feeds the oil to the cams, and you have to remove that completely in order to then make enough room for the sprocket to come away without having to take the chain off. Yeah. To then take the cams off and everything, and then swap them over. Quite easy once I worked out how to do it properly. But that's a process. So there's a video. Out there now. There is a video with that on there. I hope I just got enough footage to make that clear what I did. But you look for certain models of cars, there's nothing. And you can go so far. But it's the one thing that you need. It's that one bit. And, that one bit, you can watch a whole hour's video for that one bit and not find it. Or it just skips over and you're like, oh, it's not there. So hopefully I'll explain that. So if you are in the Corso area and you kind of want to do that job to yours, you can watch my video and hopefully it's all sort of explained properly, and it should be quite easy to follow. Of course, if it's not, you can always get in touch and I'll talk you through it at risk of taking my engine apart again. No more snap bolts, please. So yeah, that's kind of where things are at. I'm going to let Chris get on because I want this done for Juiced, and also that gives me enough time to kind of come back, pay for it, and all the rest of it. So yeah, keep an eye out. I'll let you know kind of like how it's gone and show you the finished product, and then look forward to the video that's going to come out of the 19th of May. All right, check you in a bit.